Oscar Piastri might just find himself snatching the 2025 Formula One title from the hands of Max Verstappen and Lando Norris. While all eyes are on Max Verstappen and Lando Norris for the title, Piastri is quietly but really convincingly emerging as the strongest contender. He's now matching or beating Norris in qualifying, he's making fewer mistakes, and his McLaren is, of course, performing better than the current Red Bull. His calm, composed driving and mental resilience make him an absolute serious threat for the title this year, and maybe even the favorite for the 2025 title. So let's get into how Piastri has really risen the ranks this year. Hello everybody, my name is Michael, and welcome back to Last to First. First, to figure out how Piastri has maybe become the favorite this year, we have to take a brief look at his first couple seasons in Formula One. He of course came in with a huge amount of potential and a lot of controversy given his change from Alpine to McLaren. But in his first year, he of course showed some inconsistencies, as one would expect from a rookie, as well as even in his second year as well. Comparing to Lando Norris, Lando had the edge. He had more experience, he was better with things like tire management, and he was more consistent in qualifying and typically had the edge over Oscar Piastri in the first couple seasons. We saw in 2024 there be quite a big qualifying gap between Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris. Piastri lost out 20-4 to Lando Norris throughout the year, and it showed a really big area of opportunity that Piastri needed to improve on if he had hopes of fighting for a title. There was also races like Zandvoort, which highlighted how Piastri would sometimes go a little missing and be way off the pace compared to Lando Norris. We saw throughout the first couple seasons that Piastri had in Formula One that he couldn't quite deliver a full weekend of performance consistently enough to really fight Norris week in and week out. We really needed to see Piastri make a couple big steps in qualifying, as well as things like tire management and race pace. And if he was able to make those steps, then we knew he would be living up to the potential that he has in him. Going into 2025, most people saw the championship contenders as Max Verstappen and Lando Norris. Many believed, including myself, that Piastri would probably make a step, but I think there was some hesitancy if it would be enough of a step to fight Verstappen and Norris. At the end of last year, it really seemed like those two were in a league of their own, and it would be really tough for somebody like Piastri to be able to catch up in time to fight for the title this year. But from the start of 2025, we have seen a different Oscar Piastri. Right from the get-go in Australia, he did lose out again to Norris in qualifying, but it was extremely close and he was right there on race pace. It was only one small mistake when the rain came that prevented him from securing a P2 finish, which wouldn't have allowed for quite the big points gap that he did lose out to in Australia. Importantly for Oscar Piastri, in the second race in China, he immediately bounced back. It was a challenging sprint for both McLaren drivers, but in the main qualifying session in the main race, Piastri came out absolutely swinging, and he beat Norris for the rest of the weekend. He showed major improvements in tire management and consistency, highlighting the peaks that we saw before, but also the new skills that he had developed and the things that we were looking to see out of him this year. In Japan, he lost out in qualifying again, but it was just 32 hundredths of a second, which was a huge improvement compared to last year. He looked more comfortable than Norris in the race and looked like he could have taken the fight to Verstappen when Norris really could not take that fight. And then today we had Bahrain happen. He outqualified Norris quite handedly, and while he was putting in the best laps of the weekend, Lando Norris only qualified 6th after a really messy session and after several mistakes cost him a better spot. Oscar Piastri really drove a flawless race. He controlled the pace at the front, he had great tire management, he was calm under the safety car, he didn't have any emotional overdriving after that safety car, and he secured an absolutely brilliant win while Norris faltered again. So what does all this mean for Piastri? It means that he's not just improving, but he's improving faster than maybe Norris can keep up with, and he's improving at a faster rate than maybe anybody would have expected him to this year. Because of that, I think there's a chance that his performance might be starting to get into Norris's head. Norris had Piastri in control the past couple of years, but now we may be seeing a shift in the balance of power between the two. I think it's going to be really interesting to see how those two play out, of course, over this year and over the coming years to see who wins out in that power struggle at McLaren. While Piastri might be getting getting in Norris's head, we also see that Piastri is taking full advantage of Red Bull's car not being fully sorted. You would have thought that Norris would be taking advantage of this and getting more points ahead of Max Verstappen, but Piastri is the one truly capitalizing. Oscar Piastri's championship picture has really shifted pretty dramatically, I feel, over the first few weekends of the year. Of course, his mistake in Australia did cost him a lot of points, and fans were pretty quick to write him off for the battle because there was immediately a good close to 20-point gap in the championship. But then come China and Japan, he stabilized, he minimized losses, and he proved his bounce back mentality and proved that he could come back from some of those challenging weekends. Of course, then we saw another level in Bahrain with Verstappen and Norris out of position. Piastri absolutely maximized the weekend, which is really a key trait of champions and a key trait of somebody who is fighting for the title for the year. That's really why Max Verstappen was able to win the championship last year. Even when his car wasn't as good as the McLaren's, he still maximized every weekend and he was able to win because of it. Piastri was able to maximize the weekend enough to where he took back nearly all of the points lost in Australia in just one weekend. Now the points difference is very minimal, only a couple of points, and they're basically starting from zero again. It really feels like there might be a momentum shift that is going more towards Piastri than to Norris. In the bigger picture of things, it looks like Norris might be starting to crack under pressure a little bit. Verstappen is struggling with an unsettled car that isn't doing what he wants out of it, yet he's still remaining in the title picture. And while those two are having some struggles, Piastri is hanging out there calm, consistent, and taking advantage of McLaren's current pace advantage. For the first time, it really feels like Piastri is properly in this title fight. If it wasn't time before, I think it's most definitely time now to talk about Oscar Piastri as a true contender for the title. We all knew that Oscar Piastri had the talent, but now it feels like he's really taken that next step that we were looking for, and I think Bahrain was the clearest proof of all of that. He's improved in qualifying, he's improved in his tire management, and he hasn't gone missing on any of the race weekends yet. He's generally been maximizing the weekend, and he's right there on points with Norris and Verstappen. With this trajectory, I don't think it's crazy to potentially call him a favorite for the 2025 title. With his quiet, calculated, fast, and calm nature, Piastri's potential might be potential no longer. It might just be coming to fruition now, and we might just be in the era of Oscar Piastri.